The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It is another edition of The Big Issue, and I hope you had a very wonderful weekend. We did too, and of course you see that here in the studio we're looking very refreshed, and our in-house analysts are already here bubbling with reasonable action to take you on the big issue of the day. As usual, I'm your regular host. Jotagba is my name, and of course with me here in the studio are Silas Ezogu and Chibuzo Kaibe. Well, the big issue of the day is 2023 sacrificing issue-based campaign on the altar of calumny. Well, we have been seeing how the campaign for the 2023 election is assuming a worse dimension. And we now see the candidates resorting to incisive vituperations. And of course, there's an overwhelming consensus that the political campaigns in the country have been greatly deficient in terms of their nature, tenor, and focus. This is against the expectation that campaign period ought to be naturally done in a way that it provides the political class with a great opportunity to either validate the findings they have documented from past research or collect from data on providing good governance. And of course, while we were expecting that the 2023 campaigns would have gone differently from what used to hold sway in we had in 2019, 2015, 2011, 2007, the trend has continued without any change. Fortunately, we're witnessing some unsavory comments of some candidates where they denigrate themselves. And of course, this is not supposed to be in a country like Nigeria that prides itself as a civilized society in Africa. At the weekends, it had been so. Of course, we had a situation where we see the campaign team of the major political parties, especially the People's Democratic Party and the governing All Progressive Congress, attacking themselves with words that are not supposed to be heard of. People who are said to be of the elite, the ruling class. And it culminated in the PDP asking the presidential candidate of the APC and other candidates to subject themselves, including the PDP candidate to medical tests and drug tests. And of course, the campaign team of the APC came out with a worst statement in which they attacked the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku, in a manner that was so unsavory, making reporters to wonder whether such a story will fly because of the libelous content. Silas, we've been here, and of course, thank God Chibuzo is here, and you've heard Chibuzo. Chibuzo had repeatedly said it on this program. And what is Nigerians expect an issue-based campaign. But if you see what we've seen over the few days, for instance, now, let me just to really establish what you see me talking here. The campaign team of the APC Tinubu issued a statement, and in that statement, if I read it to you here, you wonder whether that is what we should be expecting as we approach the 2023 election. Anika Ode in the statement replying Atiku campaign team for calling for drug test for the presidential candidate because they felt that they were targeting Tinubu. There had been this rumor, social media report alleging that the APC candidate drugs, just like you can always see. So
it's an allegation.
It's a basic one, of course, because at the end of the day, it is what we saw there. Nobody can claim that is true because But you know Nigerians the way they are, they can say anything just to malign.
Okay, I think
Listen to Fani Kayode first before we start discussing this. Fani Kayode in the statement said his team are ignorant. That is Atiko's team. Uncouth, disrespectful, utterly primitive, and nothing reflects or manifests that more than the vituperations and asinine contributions of his garrulous, thuggish, and indisciplined spokesman. He and Dino Melaye fit each other. They are like husband and wife, yet they are not the issue, and neither do we in the Tinubu Shetima Campaign Council care about what they say or do. For us, the issue is our beloved country, Nigeria, and the only person in the race that we can trust with the destiny of 200 million Nigerians is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We must never make the mistake of putting our nation in the hands of power-obsessed, overambitious, subversive, and dangerous megalomaniac like Atiku, who knows nothing but the modern age, who behaves like a feudal lord, and who has been trying to be president for the last 30 years. The Nigerian people deserve better than that. So you could imagine this kind of things. Use. And then at the end of the day, what are we saying? We have never seen anything sort of.
no, I wouldn't say that, George. I remember during the run up to the 2015 general elections, I know the kind of English that was kind of thing thrown at then that Mohamed Buhari, took a lot of babs too, a lot of flack, and they cast him in the mode of an extremist. Even the picture they used of him showed the frustrated man looking like an extremist. So it's not to do with started hearing, you know, some, such babs thrown at opponents. But um, much as I would expect that people who have had certain big positions in Nigeria, the elite, should be because their speech measured. You know, I think Palikade was once a minister of aviation, minister of aviation. That's as high as can get sometimes, without contesting an election. And Malaya was House of Rep member. The Senate, for instance, what? Was it in the Senate at the time? Malaya never went to the Senate. Malaya. He was a contestant and won, yes. So he has been in Nigeria hallowed chambers, where they call them honorable men. And to have this kind of dishonorable, you know, words come from their mouth, it's not, there should be example to the children. I wonder what their children will feel like when they hear the kind of thing that people says. Anyway, I think they should tone down the country, like you said on this forum for so long. It's we're looking for someone that will bring Nigeria out of the mess. Not it's not about a campaign of those who can look for the worst words to throw at each other. Okay, so I can also say that during the debate on the town hall meeting yesterday, in the right TV, the candidates themselves did a lot to marshal their points, to discuss the issue they want to lead. They want to put forward on the table what they want to do for the country. The one that appears is not well. Uh, Come to notice that some deliberate didn't come like him, and he didn't come against his vice presidential candidate. Atiku was not in the country, and he sent his vice president. Governor Kowa spoke very well. They were able to put the issues on the table and well discussed over the time. You know, this Babs by their spokesperson. You know, I don't know whether they hired them because they have such capacity to malign others. But I remember that during the time of President Obasanjo, there was a term, coined for one of his ministers there, and one of his advisors, PAFT. I remember it very well because I was intrigued by the acronym there, PAFT, Presidential Advisor on Foul Talk. It was like when a person was president, the minister of information at the time, one gentleman from Anambra State, what's his name again? Uh,
Anambra or Enugu.
is it
Frank Moike.
no, the one that before him,
Okay, Chukwemeka Chikelu.
Chikel, such a gentleman, was not given to insulting people. Was very very suave and organized person. When it seemed that he was not insulting people who were assaulting passengers, who were attacking officer government officers in it. They appointed Mweke Junior to assume the role of trying every path thrown at government. And then some people coined that path for him and said, presidential advisor on foul talk. And every Nigerian leader or every that spoke anything against the government, you know, Mweke was keen to send something, the kind of words I was seeing in Malaya and Kayode. It's not the first time that we have each other, throughout this campaign.
Kayode has also played single. Fani Kayode has also played single. Even on the possible topic.
So, yeah, Kayode also did same. So, I think the two campaigns decided to choose these people because the thing that this kind of map throwing is an element, a good element in the campaign. But like I tell you, the campaign, even though they've signed a petition, this campaign has going to get, trickier by the way, and the pressure that come. Everybody wants to downgrade the other person and upgrade their own master, and that's what they're trying to do. But in our language, in my community, they said it is during quarrel, that the truth comes out sometimes. You understand? You don't throw away every quarrel. Sometimes the truth comes out in a noisy quarrel. Well, I remember when the NDA chairman, the National Government Enforcement Agency chairman, or DG, um, Marwa, who was the general, advocated that the candidate should undergo a drug test. And quickly, people from certain camps, I think from APC especially, said no, it's not constitutional, and their principal doesn't have to go through that. You didn't need to say anything about that because there's no way this guy whoever can enforce it could enforce it. But the fact that came forward to say they cannot, pointed at, look, are they hiding something there? If this guy, it's not constitutional, so let me not go further. But what I'm saying is that Nigeria needs safe hands, safe heads, safe hearts to guide Nigeria out of the murky mess, murky waters that we're in now. It's true that it's said in jest, but sometimes it's through jest that the truth comes out. If, for instance,
So they should keep firing.
no, yeah, it's important sometimes in a debate to say something because it will generate order, it will bring some light to truth. See, and people, like I said, it's sometimes in jest that the truth comes out. So if there's something in the issue of drug, if someone is on drugs, you cannot carry the weight of 220 million Nigerians and put to somebody that is said is correct. You understand? So if I support the fact that all of them should undergo trade tests. When it comes to issue of health, we first take not in a while. But we know that Jonathan's regime, Oyada's regime,
Yes.
was raised principally because he was sick. And a big part of this regime was restraint in foreign lands undergoing treatment. Even young people can be sick. So we also need to know whether these people are healthy enough. Because look, if you are not well, if you are sick, very sick, the first thing in your mind is to be alive, to survive. The issues of state will become a secondary matter. And a just matter now, whoever is going to do it should be hands-on, ready and willing and active and agile both in his intellectual, in his mind, in his heart, in his body. That's what we need now. We need somebody, we don't need to carry passengers like one of my bosses, was said. So we don't need to carry passengers. We need people that will drive the way forward.
Thank you very much, Silas. You see, Chibuzo Silas seems to say that
Thank you.
some of these attacks sometimes are good. Unlike Nigerians are saying that they are unnecessary distractions. But you see, why Silas might consider some of these attacks incisive vituperations, abuses, very vulgar languages to be good at times. The problem we have here is that one thing that has defined Nigerian politics and campaign in the last decade had been an absence of issue-based campaign. And that was the reason why, according to most Nigeria, in 2015, Jonathan came and promised us transformation agenda. Nobody asked either of them asked Jonathan what kind of concept is he talking about. Buhari now came with change. Nobody bothered to ask Buhari, what is this kind of change you are saying?
Is it a good or a bad one?
It just changed and they not give into it.
I will fully change.
And then in 2019, Buhari came again and said this the next level. They didn't bother to know whether this change he spoke about in 2015 is what they are taking to the next level. Nobody had. All because these distractions from spokesmen of the campaign team were all there. Instead of telling Nigerians what you intend to offer based on your research on governance. We always hear this thing at the end. We take some of these things, just like that's what I'm talking. What Nigerians feel, just like what Nigerians feel. Yes, they're thinking. You do something. You need to go to online. You need to follow. This is why most times research programs like this are very important. Now they are now saying the same thing. Nobody is going to ask about these manifestos and their slogans. I think the Tinubu one now is renewed hope. The one they are accusing him of plagiarizing from Abiola, and they have consistently told them that it is not true. The articles on, I don't know, just like the transformation agenda Jonathan brought, and they changed the Buhari brought, and then took the change to the next level in 2019. Nobody bothered to ask. Because all these distractions were there. We do agree with Silas that sometimes all these attacks. No, let's look at it critically because it's something that works.
You don't need to go very. I think it all plays into what we are doing now. We are also amplifying.
No, we are not.
We are also amplifying.
We are only looking at it.
No, I'm coming.
It's never.
I'm coming.
Most of the things we are saying here is the minds of Nigeria.
You know why? You know why? Why I say that is because we have been going about this for a long time. And I don't think it will be absolutely correct to say Nigerians are not willing to ask. It's in the media space. People are asking questions. If you listen to some of our colleagues, I don't know if I can mention names now. They are quite emphatic on the how.
Yes.
I pay attention, not just one station, a good number of stations. They are not asking the questions. It's not enough to tell us what you want to do. Tell us the how.
How? And I'm bringing them to the studio come and talk about
Exactly.
it.
So I think we are beginning to hit that point of if you are saying you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because these are generic things, of course. These are generic things. But tell us the how. The how is what distinguishes you from him in what we all know the problem is. So I think we are beginning to hit that point. That's why I was a bit, at variance with the notion that Nigerians are not bothered about. I think our colleagues are beginning to do so. That's why I also feel uncomfortable at times when we give these kind of exchanges, the kind of space
we give.
You understand? That's where this is my own view now. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you go like this, it means they would have achieved what they wanted to. Because the whole idea is shock and awe. That is what they are aiming for. And if they do that and we keep, referring to what they say and, they will be somewhere saying at least we've achieved our aim. Because there's no other reason for putting out such statements with such high, intense words and all of that, if not to get people's attention away from, So I don't think what they are saying, to me, I don't think it has any tangible value with regards to what the election should be about. You are sick, you are ill, you are all of that.
Leaving the substance to tackle the trash.
Fine. Are those issues? Perhaps they are. To some people, they probably are. But are they the most important things we should be talking about at this point? No, candidates have been chosen rather. If they have their health issues, Nigerians at least have an experience of what it means now to have a president that is not feeling too well. So Nigeria should be able to judge, when it comes to that, they should be able to judge. But I think what would have been much more important, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is not important,
No, I understand.
but what should be most vocal on our minds now are the how, like I said, and we saw a bit of that. Kudos to Arise.
Yes,
On the debate, on the town, they call it town hall, not debate, town hall. And it was quite engaging. At least it gave us a glimpse of, at least a better glimpse on how these candidates are thinking, their thinking processes, their temperaments, their notions, a hint of their ideological makeup, And I think this is what Nigerians want to see more. At least the elite, the enlightened class wants to see this kind of engagement, so that we can begin to say, okay, does this person have the right? Because it's not just enough to have a good manifesto and you can know all that it is that you want to do. You can know all of the problems Nigeria has. At their level, I don't think there will be anyone who doesn't have a fair understanding of the problems of Nigeria. I'm not saying they all do. Of course, it will be varied because of exposure to public office, who has more, and all of that. But a sense of
Who they are,
what they are, who they are. I think that's because that is what drives. That climbs. We see these things. We saw the Trump and we saw the Bidens. We could place the distinct,
the principles
that they represent. What drives their politics? We could see that also in the British context. We saw what Boris was about. We could tell that this is the kind of person he is.
Yes.
We could tell the kind of person James Cameron, what is James Cameron? His trust, and and even Sunak. You could tell. You could have the sense because they were upfront, speaking to the people on issues. And so you gauge them on how they perceive the issue and how they perceive the solution to the problem. So it helps to shape how people should. But I do agree. Maybe the Nigeria environment is what it is. Maybe there's still so many sentiment-driven things that still shape, the way we perceive politics. But I just pray we get there.
Maybe get something I said clear. I'm not saying that's the main issue. I said, like I said, the candidates who honored the invitation yesterday, who are involved in invitations to media space and to public talks, have been, espousing their ideas, their ideas, the manifesto, and all these things. Like yesterday, they did it well over a long time. They were given opportunity to talk about it. The other one I gave a small line to was that, in a big fight,
it brings out
sometimes people go to fight. The big roads are also there. You also have those who pinch. You understand? So they're all part of the fight. And what it helps to do is to also throw a light on the other issues which the main candidates will not talk about. So don't say. So I'm not saying that. See, anybody who watched the TV yesterday or this morning would have seen what the candidates are about. And that's why I also encourage all the candidates to make themselves available to talk about the issues.
Exactly.
And I think
not through their spokespersons.
And you
very
see,
valid point.
Nigerians
Not
expressed
through
their
their
anger
spokespersons.
about this yesterday. You saw what played out in that town hall meeting. When
Not
Nigerians
through
were saying, no, the candidates must be present themselves.
Yeah, because you will get the mandate of Nigerians. Why are you, shying away from Nigerians and giving one free excuse?
Media aides will now resort to
Then media who are not the mandate
ad hominem attacks.
will not come and talk whatever they want to talk. Nigerians don't go to hold them accountable. It is the candidate. And whoever runs the election, Nigeria is going to go. So it's not the spokesperson. So those who want to speak through process, they're not doing us a favor. They're not doing us even right. They're not even respecting the Nigerian people. They should come and tell us how they want to solve the problem of Nigeria. That's what we need.
Thank you very much. Well, this is the much we can take for the big issue. And of course, the issue here is that Campaigns must be issue-based. Nigerians must not be misled this time around as they approach the 2023 general polls. And of course, we expect that in the coming days we will see some changes where the candidates will now focus on how they intend to wriggle the country out of the economic, social, and political morass it is enmeshing instead of engaging themselves with incisive vituperations and verbal attacks that are uncalled for. Thank you for keeping tab out there with us, and of course, I thank our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. Have a wonderful day.